Hi everyone to yet another video from Wealth with Seema. Today I'm here before you to just give an idea of what an emergency fund is. Many people think, why do we need an emergency fund? What is the importance of setting aside some money for what reason do we need to have an emergency fund? So I thought, why do I not talk about the emergency fund and the needing for that? So, what is an emergency fund? An emergency fund is something that will come to your help when you have to face some untoward incidents in your life or some things that was not anticipated. What can be these unanticipated things in life? See, Corona was a good time which showed us all like what is an emergency fund, what is an untoward incident that we need to be prepared in our life. See, actually, we are living in a phase where there is no uncertainty. As such, there is no uncertainty in anybody's life. So we need to prepare ourselves for all these uncertainties. That's where the emergency fund comes into play. So, why do we require this emergency fund? Now, let us assume that you have decided to take a break in your job or in your work. So, you being the breadwinner of a family, how will the family go about with their day-to-day expenses? So, have you thought about it before you decided to take a break? So, this is not an untoward incident, this is a planned event. But when there is an untoward incident, that is something we used to hear about the layoffs by big companies recently, Google, Microsoft, all of them were in news for laying off their employees. Not just one or two, it was in hundreds and thousands all over the world. So if you hear some news like that early morning, what will you do? If you are a breadwinner or if you are an only member of family and there are dependents on you apart from yourself. But leave alone the dependence. How are you going to take care of your basic needs in life till you get another job? This is where the emergency fund comes into play. But I've heard many people like when I have job, why do that will happen? I don't know why will that happen. But if that happens, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit simply without having food? No, right? Okay, the food is something that I can control by myself. So what are all the expenses that needs to be paid off, like your electricity bill, your water bill, the essential bills, the EMIs for certain people? How are you going to take care of that till you get another job? So this is where the emergency funds come into play. And how do we build emergency fund? This is something that I'm going to discuss. But before that, what is the right amount that has to be set aside as an emergency fund? Ideally, you need to keep aside around 6 months of your basic needs as your emergency fund. What do you mean by that? So in a month, we need to calculate what is the amount that we need to uh, give out for our basic needs. That is, that has to be borne. There is no other way. Like you need to give the supply of food and groceries at home. You need to pay the essential bills. You need to pay the rent if you are in a rented house. You need to pay the other bills, as I said. And then if you have loans, you have to pay the EMI. You can't go and tell the bank that I don't have a job now, so you stop my EMI. It's not possible. So these are all essential needs. And what are your wants? Your wants are something like, okay, right now I'm bored with my mobile. Let me change it and let me see that I'm up to the mark or I take some the new model that is available. Is that your essential need? No. If you have a mobile that serves your purpose right now, then that is not your need. That is your want, which can be postponed. And your investment. Now, let me tell you, before even you start accumulating your emergency, yes. So these all the amount that goes into these needs make your total needs of a month. So once you calculate your amount of needs in a month, you have to multiply that by 6 or 8. These are the ideal amounts. And then you need to come up with an amount that needs to be kept as an emergency. So let us assume it is an assumption. So let us assume that in a month you need 15,000 rupees to pay off your needs. So your monthly needs are 15,000 rupees, and so you need to build an emergency fund of 6 months. So 15 into 6 is 90,000 rupees. But will that be, see, let us assume your salary to be 30,000. So you're left with only 15,000. So to build this emergency fund of 6 months again requires another 6 months. But then you need to start building that. So what do we all suggest is that before even going in for investment for your future or for your goals, first you need to see that you have an emergency fund in place because you need to keep going. So before, and one more important thing is before you start building your emergency. So once you start earning, the first discipline that you need to build is saving your funds for emergency. But before even doing that, you need to see that you have a health insurance and a term insurance in place for you. That is very, very, very important in the current era. So once you have taken your health insurance and your term insurance, that is, you have given an assurance to your family that you are dependent on me and I'm taking care of you even in my absence. That is something that is very, very, very important in our life. So let us assume you have taken care of that. Now we will come up. So you have an earnings of 30,000 and you have calculated your needs in a month to be 15 or 16,000. So now I have to let us go with the 16,000. Now I have to build an emergency of minimum 96,000. How do I build it? So what you need to do is you are earning 30,000, your needs are 16,000. You have parked now all your investments. Right now you're not going to start any investments because first and foremost thing is that I need to set right my emergency fund. So I'm just going to whatever is remaining from my salary after my necessary needs, I'm just going to push it to a fund where my emergency fund is going to build. Now, you can have another savings account with another bank or with the post office to park your emergency fund till the time. This is a fund that you're not going to touch, like whatever be your want. Like if it is a need, then you have to go ahead, but then you have assured that you have kept your health insurance and your life insurance, that is term insurance in place, then you need to go ahead with the building up of the emergencies. So you are just going to push this remaining amount from your income to the emergency fund. So once you get accumulated with 96,000, or like let us assume let it go at 1 lakh. So once you have accumulated your fund, that's not to be touched till you feel some emergency. So how do we do that? So whenever that money is in my savings account, which is very much good accessible, I will have a lot of funds because now I have built my needs. So now once you have built your emergency fund, you have that bandwidth of that uh, 14,000 rupees, which can go into investment, or you can take a partial amount of that for your bonds. Yes. So now you can think about making your mobile up to date or your laptop up to date or to buy some gadgets, whatever it was. So you can do it one by one. And also you need to start doing your investments. So that is also very, very important. So once you have accumulated this emergency fund, how are you going to maintain it? So you have to keep 10 percentage of this emergency fund in your as cash, whatever be the mode. You can have it in your savings bank account, which you can access through your debit card or whatever, or as a cash in your piggy bank at home, whatever it is. But you need to have a discipline that you're not going to touch that amount unless you face an emergency. After emergency, that you don't have any cash other than using this emergency fund. And second is the 20% you can again put it in the like bank in the form of some investment like an FD. Yes, like an FD or yes, as an FD basically or term deposit, whatever the banks and so you can have it in your bank or in your post office, whichever mode you prefer. And you need to see that you are able to encash it within 24 hours. But what happens is when the FD doesn't, when you are breaking your FD or RD or term deposit, there is some exit load. But then it is very, very minimum because it is going to take only your interest. It's just going to be the 1% of your interest, which is very much okay. So that's not the principal amount, you're not losing it. So this is how you can maintain. Then the rest 70% you can keep it in a liquid mutual fund. Why liquid mutual fund is because it beats the inflation, but and it gives just a little more ahead of your FD. But it is okay for using it as an emergency fund. And why mutual fund? Because you can encash it within 24 hours. So what you do for this 24 hours is you can have and get a credit card. But having a credit card, if you are very disciplined, then you can have that. So till that you get that fund which you have saved in mutual fund, you can use this credit card for your needs and then pay off the bill after you encash from your mutual fund. Anything. So this is how you build your emergency fund, you maintain your emergency fund, and then you start investment towards your goals. So I think I have made a judicial try to make you understand the importance of the emergency fund in your life and how are you going to build it step by step and how are you going to maintain it till you need it. So if you like this video, click like and subscribe to my channel for yet another video on some financial tips. Thank you.